welcome to this Diwali special. I have with me one of India's best-known investors, a man who's probably having the best Diwali he's had in many years. A recent newspaper article said that over the last year or so, he had made close to 35 lakh rupees every hour. That's how successful he's been in this market over the last 12 months or so. Hello and welcome, Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Thank you very much for joining us.
Happy Diwali to all the viewers, all Indians.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about two things I think that have changed dramatically between the time we last met, which was May 12th, and today. One is that we met a week before counting, or a few days before counting. Since then, of course, the BJP won. Mr. Modi has become Prime Minister, and that in itself has been, a fairly transformational thing for the Indian economy. The second one is what's gone on with crude prices, which again has a several layered impact on the Indian economy. First up, how would you assess what you've seen the Modi government do so far?
Ma'am, first of all, it is too short a period to really assess.
Okay.
Second thing is, my comment is that India has to undergo a throes of change. You live in a democracy. Change has to be slow, right? And for everything that has to be changed, every decision has to be considered. So, to think that Mr. Modi and his government could make some miracles in 6 months would, I think would be childish. But I have no doubt that there will be miracles over a period of time. And I will at least give a further period of 18 to 24 months when you will really see the burst of all these actions taking place. And also I would like to add that, as far as crude prices go, in crude or commodities, what has happened? You have had one of the largest bull markets in commodities in the last 15-20 years, right? Now, I think it's not, people are saying that commodity prices have come down only because of consumption has gone down. I think consumption reduction is very marginal. Sure. What has really happened is that there was so much super profits in commodities, the investment was attracted. And I think the super cycle on the commodities boom is over. Now we are going to go through a deep correction and maybe a bear market in commodities. I personally think oil prices will settle somewhere between $70 and $80 and will stay there for a long time to come. Okay. Or maybe bottom at 75 or top at 85. Yeah. That's what my expectation is.
How does an investor play something like this?
See, ma'am, I have not done a detailed analysis how much it will benefit paint or tire or polyester.
One sector or group of stocks or companies that will invest the most are oil sector, public sector companies, right? Because they've been strangled virtually by the lack of any kind of freedom in pricing. You see all these companies from within the government-owned PSUs.
There is a very, very big misnomer over there that HPCL, BPCL and IOC were not bearing any part of the subsidy. And they were having market-related prices, including margins and profit. The only thing was that government was paying them late.
Right.
So they are biggest beneficiaries in terms of interest cost and not in terms of profit arising from fair pricing.
Fair enough. But someone like an ONGC would benefit because the subsidy burden that ONGC had to bear as an upstream company hopefully will come down dramatically or get reduced to zero technically, if the diesel price deregulation persists.
I am long on ONGC. I'm very bullish. What I'm saying, please take advice from my financial advisor. I'm extremely interested. I'm long ONGC. I feel the biggest beneficiary of this will be ONGC in all India. Because they were, last year I think ONGC's oil realization was $41. If and in my personal opinion, maybe in 16 or in the budget after that, the government is going to abolish all this system. And the entire subsidy what is going to be borne by the government of India. That's what my judgment is. I reserve the right to be wrong. So the real beneficiary of this oil fall, and it's a big dilemma, that ONGC, if the government of India abolishes the subsidy, is the largest beneficiary in the world of falling oil prices.
So there's a multifaceted set of benefits that India draws from that kind of price region for crude, right?
But I think that is one of the small, that is a big benefit, but I think there are bigger, that's an attendant benefit.
Right.
In a meal, that's like the chutney. It's not the main vegetable and the main roti. There are other factors which are far more permanent which are driving India. See, if you look at the world today, countries are facing two kinds of challenges. Some are facing structural problems, in which I include the entire Western world, Japan and China.
Sure.
Then there are countries which are facing cyclical problems, where I include the developing world.
Okay.
And there are countries who are, then there is a country which is on a upturn both cyclically and structurally.
And India would fall in that.
And India would fall in that category.
I'm saying what we expected on May 12th. A Modi government is what you anticipated at that time. Yes, of course, this majority was unanticipated, but we've got that, and that bolsters your expectations. Did you expect crude prices to be at 80?
Bolster my expectation, bolster the reality.
Bolster the reality. All right, fine. But there's a double good whammy here, because we've also had crude prices come down. Does this double whammy of good factors make you a double of a bull than you were in May? Is the question I was trying to get.
No,
in the May, you said this was the mother of all
if you
bull
talk
runs.
about India's bullishness, you know, I cannot express how bullish I feel. I feel, you know, when I came to the market in 1985, the index was 150. I feel India as a country is at 150. People may call me anything. I'm a mad bull, big bull. These are my feelings, and when I think about the factors involved, this is the thought I get. Because see, we are underestimating. We have a cyclical upturn. We have the best structural upturn in the world. I envisage that post 2017-18, India will grow double digit. I don't know for how many years, how many decades.
I want to connect what you've said about, you know, the Modi majority, if I may call it that, the bear market in commodities, and what's going on in the rest of the world with regards to central bank policy, because it's been most confusing in the last month, right?
See, ma'am, we have seen an unprecedented, in the last 200 years, the world had never seen such growth in prosperity and progress that we saw in the last 200 years, post the Industrial Revolution. And structurally, the richest countries of the world have never faced the problems they are facing today. With commodity prices going down, inflation, the people are talking of deflation. Then why should interest rates go up? And even if they go up, by what measure? Today it's 0.25. I'm told deposit rates in Singapore are 20 basis points. Suppose those deposit rates become 1%, what is it going to make? Are you coming to India to earn 1%? So I think all this is overhyped. So I am of an opinion for two things, that maybe for a week, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, what happens in the world could affect us. Right? But I don't think interest rates will go up aggressively. I think they won't go up. Even if they go up, the quantum of rise will be one which is not going to affect sentiment towards India.
Okay.
And second, India is going to be the best performing economy, I am not saying the market, amongst the developed and developing world.
Over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, for a long period of time.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
And also, there's a lot of investment waiting for India to come into India, direct investment, which needed change in policy, which is happening.
All bull runs go through corrections at various points in time. We did see a lot of volatility in October. We also saw our markets come off their peaks by about 3% or so, which was really probably the mildest of corrections, if I can even use that word, especially relative to how other markets did. Are we, therefore, imminently in danger of an impending correction over the next few months or so, given how much we've run up?
Ma'am, you had a non-stop rise from 50 to 100. In August 2013, the market bottom. It was, I'm very happy. I just saw some of my interviews on YouTube. I was interviewed sometime in August 2013, and I said everything, there was gloom and doom, and I said the mother of all bull markets is ahead of us. Somebody interviewed me in December 2013. I said, I believe the bull market has already started. I think you interviewed me in May, I was of the same opinion.
Yeah, in May you said this is the mother of all bull markets. Yeah.
Right? We have seen nothing, ma'am. It's just in the trailer plate. Just watch the actual movie. But when you come from, see, we have a rise from 5,200 to 8,200, a 3,000 point rise.
Right.
A correction can come anytime.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think, especially in the last 2 days, the screen is indicating any correction. And it is my personal feeling and opinion, and I reserve the right to be wrong, that a very serious correction will come. Either it will come post-December and finish before the budget, or it will come post the budget.
Okay.
It won't come before.
When you say a very serious correction, what would the depth of that correction be roughly? 20% or so?
It could be 33% of the rise.
Okay.
I mean, you go from 5,200 to 9,200, you always lose 1,000 points. You could always. I'm not sure when it will start. Right? But corrections are part of markets.
Okay. So would it be therefore fair for me to assume that you are still long on your trading portfolio?
See, ma'am, I told you earlier, I don't want to discuss my positions.
No, I'm not asking for a specific stock position.
No,
I'm saying
I'm
broadly
bullish. I'm
speaking.
bullish. I'm bullish.
Have you changed your trading strategy over the last month or so?
I don't make a strategy, ma'am. I also don't know what my strategy is. I come watch the screen, buy, sell. So there is no detailed planning, quant analysis.
That's very self-effacing. I don't
It's
believe
not, it is
that
reality, ma'am. What can I do if you don't want to believe me? I have no conference with my people at 8:30. I come to the office at 11. I give orders at 9:15. I don't consult anybody.
But your orders would be based
But
on some analysis.
it's based on my intuition and my understanding, which is not pre-planned.
So I'm just curious to know, because I know a lot of your followers would be keen to know, how is it that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala picks stocks? Does he do hours of financial analysis? Does he talk to managements ahead of time before he puts his money into the stock to find out what the integrity of the management is, whether he agrees with their vision, their expectation? How do you pick stocks?
Every day in the office for 3 hours I do nothing which is related with stocks. I watch YouTube. Right, I do very little financial analysis. See, when I say interview, I also see the big picture. I'm more a big picture investor rather than analysis paralysis. And there are so many factors. I don't say this. I said this with Menaka Chopra. Just as a Kama Sutra says, you have to use all senses. Investing in a sense requires intuition of so many senses. So I can't say, but I look at the big picture. And when I'm convinced, I don't listen to anybody. And I've been wrong, many a time. I'm more lucky than I'm smart, let me tell you that.
Do you talk to managements of the companies before you invest in them to get a sense of what
sometimes there's a value, that when you invest, now investigate later. I just met the promoter of DHFL on the airport by mistake. I came from a flight, a friend of mine went to the toilet, and he came and met me. He told me, Rakesh, you should see at my stock. I think it's a ridiculous valuation. I saw it 110 rupees. When I said, I didn't call him. I told him that I'll look at a stock and talk to you. I first bought those shares, then I called him. So therefore, that certain valuation is now investigate later.
But that's a chance meeting with the promoter of a company.
Yeah.
Do you otherwise consciously try and call, like if a company looks interesting to you from a financials or valuation point of view, do you call the management and say, look...
I don't have much money to invest, whatever you think. Right?
Well.
So I don't have trading income every year, and that's the only thing I can invest. And I don't want to take debt beyond a point. And I don't want to rotate my portfolio constantly. I want very little turnover in my portfolio. So therefore, I am not looking with a minute eye. And nowadays, I don't want to invest in small companies.
Why? Small companies, you mean small cap, mid cap companies?
Yeah,
like what we traditionally know as small cap?
It's difficult to buy, difficult to sell. Then suppose I invest 5-10 crores in a company, what am I going to make?
Aren't these what markets call multi-baggers, right?
No, but and I'm also, rather than hunt for the multi-baggers now, if I get 21% return on my stock, I'll be a king. If I get 24, I'll be an emperor. Right? So my idea of expectation, for the first time in my life, I'm becoming disconscious.
No, why is it this that you've moved away from aspiring to want to identify the next 10 big multi-baggers?
I'm not. First of all, they're not. When I bought Titan, first time I thought the price would be 200. I bought up to 120. The price is 8,000. My grandfather didn't know that the price was going to be 8,000.
No, fair enough. I understand.
So it's not easy. I don't. A lot of people ask me, give us the next Titan. I said, when I come to know, if I know it, I'll tell you.